This is the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour.
Supported by Albertsons.
And brought to you by
Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Lucchese, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. And by Omni. Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your hosts, Kristi Scales and Brad Sham.
And welcome, everyone. Look at us. We're out of the... I started to say cage, but that would be such a wrong thing to say because we love the podcast studio at the Star. We love it. But this is even better where we are out in the Star District, and tonight and for the next 4 weeks after this, we are at Concrete Cowboy in the Star District, out on the patio. It couldn't be better. And look who's here. KaVontae Turpin came out to be our special guest. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we will be here. We don't have any interruptions in the schedule now for a while, do we?
That's right.
Every Monday at this time, which depending on when you're listening and where you're listening might be a different time than other people. So just say at this time for the next 4 weeks, we'll be taping. If you'd like to come be a part of the audience when we're not live in Dallas-Fort Worth, you might hear us live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, anywhere around the network. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you streaming on DallasCowboys.com, that's all the little cameras there, Turp. You can wave to everybody. Nice to have you with us whenever you're joining us. Thank you very much. And so come on out, and we encourage you to come and meet the players and get a chance to ask them some questions. And, of course, there's a little more enthusiasm now after the last couple of weeks than there was after that first one. And KaVontae Turpin is right in the middle of it, and what an exciting player you are. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be here, man. It's a wonderful one.
And this is KaVontae. He says it's his first national radio show.
Really?
Across the radio
Look
network.
at us.
So we're very privileged to have you. And your story is so inspiring because there aren't too many 26-year-old rookies in the NFL, and 5 different leagues now in the NFL. And I have to ask you, because you played here locally at TCU, but I'm sure that you envisioned what it would be like to be in the NFL and be a Dallas Cowboy. But now that it's a reality and you're 3 weeks into the regular season, 2-1 record, does the reality meet or exceed the expectation?
Yes, man. I've been, going around the world just seeing things, and I had faith, just to be here, man. It's just a wonderful time. Like, it's a blessing come true because I've been waiting on it like my whole life. I'm just happy to be a part of the Cowboys organization and just happy to do what I can do for it.
And let me get out of training camp and into the preseason first, because as you said that you've been dreaming about this, and you've had some ups and downs, hit some potholes. We don't have to get into all the specifics, but we don't want to stay away from the growth opportunities because your story, it seems to me, is one that can be really inspirational to a lot of young men and women, and let them go to school on some of the things that got you from where you've been to where you are. But all of that time, when you started playing again, we'll get into all of that. That dream of the NFL was always there.
Yes, sir, it's always there.
Now we go to preseason. And here you are. We're in a Dallas Cowboys uniform. You're in a stadium. The people paid to get in. They keep score up on the scoreboard. And the first one, of course, was Denver. Now we go to the Chargers, and we all know what happened. Return a kickoff and a punt for a touchdown. So preseason or not, and I think this is kind of what Kristi was driving at, when you walk out onto the field in a stadium with the star on your helmet and wearing the uniform, are you thinking, I did it?
I was thinking, dang, I made it, basically. It's been a long journey, and I'm, finally here. And I kind of broke a tear, kind of like a joy relief, and I just was excited.
Before the Chargers game, I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of rookies. You're not an average rookie, but there's a lot of rookies who only kind of peripherally only think they know the difference between preseason and the regular season. But there's a lot of guys who know. Now you got 3 preseason games. Some of them, that third one's going to be the last time they play football in their life. But your self-belief has driven you throughout your journey. So when you went in the field in Denver, let alone the Chargers game, did you think, I still have to make the team, or this is another step, or did you think, no, I'm here?
No, I really just, in my head, I was just like, I got to go out here and make a play, like, to certify myself to, like, know that I'm on the 53-man roster. Like, that was my mindset going into Denver and the Chargers. Like Denver, I really just was trying to get a feel, like, of the NFL league, like, how fast it is and that. So when I got that, I came back and told Coach Bones, the special team coach, I told him, like, going into the Chargers game and, like, it's time to do it. Like, it's time to let it loose. He did it, and I just went out there and made a play, and that's just what it was.
That first return that you had in that preseason game, I had a flashback to the time when Bill Parcells was here. And it wasn't his first season with the Cowboys, but he said going into the final preseason game that, yes, there are still roster spots open, and if someone makes a play, they're going to make the final roster. And Brad remembers that that's when Reggie Swinton returned the kickoff 100 yards and ended up making the squad. Bill stayed true to his word, and Reggie rightfully earned that spot on the 53-man. So after that first return, did you know at that point that, yes, I've done it?
No, that didn't even hit my mind either. I just was like, I still got to go. Like, I thought they was going to pull me, and they was going to, like, have in my mindset, like, okay, I kind of, like, made a play, like, but they kept me in the game, so I just was like, let's go do something else special. So that was the mindset going. When I returned the second one, that's when I heard the team, the boys, they was just like, man, go take your stuff off. You here. So that's when I got to, like, kind of got excited, and that's when it kind of hit me, like, I made a spot on the 53.
Yeah, one of the great things about being the sideline reporter for so long is that every team is different every year. And it's fun to see the dynamic on the sideline because younger players become older players and they assume more leadership roles. You have different coaches come in, and there's always a different dynamic. And the response of your teammates, and you'd only known these guys for a couple weeks, really.
Really just a week.
Yeah, really just a week, and yet it was joyous, not just because there was a score, but they were genuinely happy for you. And so I would like for you to share with the hundreds of thousands of Cowboys fans who are listening right now what it's like to come back to a sideline, actually be swamped in the end zone by guys that you've been watching on TV or who are highly regarded in the NFL.
Man, it just, like, exciting because I was looking up to these guys like Dak, Zeke, all of them. I was looking up to them then, just seeing them, like, just showing the joy and, like, the happiness for me. And I just was excited, man. I broke a tear, and it just, like, I was happy, man. Just happy to see those guys, show love into what we do, and, like, it just was exciting.
Now, I was intrigued by what you said a minute ago about you were interested in getting into the preseason because the speed would pick up a little bit. So then now it's the regular season. Now you're going to go play Tampa. Did anybody tell you that wasn't no speed at all? Now it's fixing to get real?
Now when I went to Tampa, they was an experienced team, so I didn't know what to expect, so I just went out there just trying to make a play, not knowing. But then I got, Bones, we watched film, did a little study program, and it started getting slow for me, and it's just how it was last week, yesterday. The game just gets slower by the time you get.
And from week to week, is it getting slower and slower?
By week to week, I'll say by practices, it's getting slower for me. Like, I could pick up things faster.
I think that's what made what you did in preseason so impressive because the guys who are blocking for you, frankly, it's a lot of guys that, don't get a lot of reps and they haven't really worked together. And so now that you're getting to practice with the guys, and I know that there are some changes where you have like Jabril Cox having to step in for Luke Gifford and the like on special teams. But now, how long has it taken And do you even feel like you're really in the groove now, regular season, because you're actually getting to work with the same guys over and over and actually game planning instead of preseason where you're not so much studying the opponent?
Yeah, I'd say Bones, he do a great job with the personnel he put in, the guys. Like, any guys that Bones put out there, I put trust in them to go out there and do their job. And they just how we go through every day. You got to go out there and do your job just like at practice. You got to do it, next man up when Gift got down. I hope he be back this week. I'm happy Jabril came out there, stepped up, next man up, basically. So
I'm sorry. The way that you're describing that the fellas accepted you, that looked like, and Kristi and I were there in Oxnard, and we see every practice. It looked like it didn't take very long for that to happen at all. Am I right about that? Did they accept you just from when you got to town?
Yeah, because the guys, they kind of knew who I was. Just coming from TCU, they just knew when I get back there, they know I'm a big play waiting to happen. So I feel like they're gonna do whatever in their power and their job to make sure I know I get loose.
So I was talking to C.J. Goodwin before the regular season started, before the first game, and they don't have permanent captains, but if they had a permanent captain in the special teams, it would be C.J. Goodwin.
For sure.
He's one of the best special teams players I've ever seen. So we're talking about all the different units. I said, all right, so this looks like it's got a chance to be special teams, to be a really good part of this team. Why is that? What's good about special teams? And he just looked at me and he said, Terp. So do you feel that from your teammates that they expect everything of you that you expect from yourself?
Yeah, I'm a game changer, so I expect every game I got to go out there and make a play. They're just the chip on my shoulder. Every time I step on the field, I got to give my best no matter what. So them guys believe that I can go out there and make a big play, and I feel like I can take it there too.
All right, well, we're going to find out how that chip got there and what you do to carry it around, because sometimes I have a feeling it might be just about as big as you are. We're so happy to have KaVontae Turpin with us on the Cowboys Hour tonight. We are at Concrete Cowboy in the Star District in Frisco. And come on out and be part of the show and meet KaVontae, and we're going to have some fun tonight and for the next 4 or 5 weeks while we're here. We'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
Supported by Albertsons.
Also presented by Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Kristi Scales along with Brad Sham and our very special guest tonight on the Cowboy Hour. We're at the Concrete Cowboy at the Star in Frisco. It's KaVontae Turpin, the Cowboys wide receiver and return specialist. And KaVontae, I would like for you to tell the story about every day when you come before and after practice and between all the meetings and everything in the Cowboys locker room here at the Star. Who are your locker mates?
C.J. Goodwin and Jason Peters.
Now, C.J. Goodwin, we just talked about him a moment ago, that a veteran leader of the special teams and a cornerback and just an all-around great guy and true veteran presence. But Jason Peters, 40 years old, he made his debut for the Cowboys last night. Just wipe it out, guys, playing left guard. But do you think it's an accident that they have two veterans like that around you? And what does it mean for you personally to be able to glean from those kinds of guys?
I don't think it was an accident. I think they put us together, put them next to me or put me next to them for them to give me wisdom and open my eyes into the league. I feel like that's what it was. And them guys talk to me every day, just telling me Turp, go be you. Every day they tell me they gonna feed off my energy, and I just feel like those guys talking to me just give me the wisdom and just keep me on my toes.
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things about the Cowboys setup during the week, the locker room. The players are intermingled. It's not one half of the locker room is offense and the other side is defense, and then it's by position group where the wide receivers are next to the tight ends, next to the quarterbacks, next to the offensive line. That's the way it is at stadiums, right? Because halftime, you got a short amount of time. You got to make halftime adjustments. But I just think it's really interesting. I think Wade Phillips was the first to do that, Brad. With the Cowboys, he was the one that kind of mixed things up there in the locker room. But do you feel kind of a different dynamic, and what's the camaraderie like at the Star during the week?
Like a blessing, just being in that building, just a blessing come true to me. Just be there, just to listen to them guys, learn. That's what I'm here for, just to learn the NFL. I've been in 5 different leagues, so I'm basically still learning. And just a blessing come true, just to walk in them doors.
Okay, let's get to the 5 different leagues, shall we? First of all, I want to go back to TCU. Actually, I want to go back before that. Monroe, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Saints or Cowboys?
I was a Falcons fan.
How did that happen?
I like Michael Vick.
Okay, of course you did. Yeah,
Okay.
Of course you did. Okay,
Okay.
Great athlete. Okay, fine. All right, now, how did you get to TCU from Monroe?
I didn't get recruited. I was a 3-star coming out of high school. I didn't get recruited that much. So I say I played in the state championship game my senior year, and I played against the team was Warren Easton. They had 22 guys going D1, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. And I just went off that game. I had 120 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, and 80 yards on the ground. I just feel like after that, TCU offered me. Then Texas Tech offered me. I took a visit to TCU.
Were you recruited as a wide receiver or a specialist or both? Mainly as a receiver?
Athlete. They recruited me as an athlete. So they tried, Coach P tried me at cornerback at one point when I was there.
Really?
Yeah, he tried me, but he always wanted me to go out there, but he knew I was a big play waiting to happen, so he kept me on the offense end. We talked about it a lot.
But by the way, what you're hearing behind us is someone just driving by. That's just someone. Are they parked or are they leaving?
No, they're passing by now.
Okay,
but,
well, have a lovely
it's probably KaVontae's teammates trolling us here.
It could be.
They wanted to be on air, but it's only KaVontae.
All they had to do was ask. All they had to do was ask.
For sure.
Okay, so you get to TCU. Did you for real right now at as we're recording this, almost 6:20 here in September. How tall are you, and what do you weigh?
Right now, I'll say I'm 5'8", 5'9". I'm about 153 right now.
153. Okay. And what were you in high school?
Like 135.
135.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Was that natural growth, or did you get in a weight room, or
Just
did you eat a
natural.
lot of pizza, or what did you do?
Nah, it just was natural. Like,
Okay.
It's just hard for me to gain weight. I don't know why. I tried it so many times over the years. It's just hard. I lose it so fast.
Do you think that is why you weren't offered by more schools quicker?
Yeah, a lot of schools, like, I went to the Alabama count, went to the LSU count. You know, I did my thing. They just told me I was too small.
And they told you flat out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you weren't too small at TCU, and then you go on, you had this great career at TCU, and you're all Big 12 as an all-purpose player. And what did you think about your prospects to play after college once you had done that and proven yourself in the Big 12? Or were you even thinking about it?
I really didn't really think about it. You know, when I got there, I had the mindset I got to prove everybody wrong. You know, I still got that mindset to this day. You know, when I went up there, that just was my mindset. I know people look down on me, and that's just my mindset. I had to prove people wrong.
I want to give you an opportunity just to say whatever you want to about the circumstances under which you left TCU, mostly because I want to give you a chance to tell young people listening what you learned about yourself and about how to conduct yourself in life.
I'll just say, man, I just stayed true to myself, you know, leaving there. You know, I didn't lose faith in, like, who I was, and the media made it seem like I was a bad person, but at the same time, I tell the young guys to this day, like, no matter what the people tell you, no matter what people say, you know, stay true to yourself, believe in, like, who you is, and that's just what I had in my heart, like, just stay true to myself.
So you're out of TCU. You were dismissed from TCU, invited to not participate anymore in 2018. Now, you're eligible for the draft in 2019, and you're not drafted.
Not drafted.
Because you're 5'8" and 100. Were you up to 140 then?
I said I was like 160 then.
160?
Yeah, I was working out hard with an pick and forward. I was like 160 then.
All right. So you don't get drafted. Now, some of the leagues, I like to think that I pay attention, but there's a couple of these leagues that I am not familiar with. So your first stop is the Indoor Football League, which I am familiar with the Frisco Fighters.
Yes,
but
sir.
COVID
knocked it away.
So there's no league. But how did you find them, and how did they find you?
Man, I was in Monroe, Louisiana. I was sleeping on my mama's couch. You know, Coach Clint Denzel, he gave me a phone call, asked me did I want to come play.
So I got to stop you for 1 second because Joe Trahan from the Cowboys PR staff and I worked together with the Dallas Desperados. And Clint Dozell was the quarterback and later went on into coaching. So I know Clint very well and know that he would look at you and say, especially in indoor football, I know what this young man can do.
For sure.
Okay, so Clint finds you. Go ahead. Sorry for the interruption.
No, you're okay. Clint called me, asked me did I want to come play indoor. You know, that's the first time I got a call from in the league, and I was just like, yeah, let's go.
Did you know even that there was indoor football?
No, that was my first time even knowing about indoor football, and I was just like, come on, let's go. I just need to go do something.
If they'd have had the season, except for COVID, would you have had to play both ways, defense and offense? And had you ever played DB?
I played safety. That's my first position I played growing up. I played quarterback and I played safety.
Okay, so
would you have played here?
Yeah.
Would the games have been right here in the Ford Center?
For sure.
How about that?
Ford's
Okay. Yeah,
He was
of course.
gonna- he was
He's
gonna
looking
end
at
up
me
at the
like,
start,
where else?
yeah.
Where else do you think they're going to be? Of course. All right. So, so that league doesn't happen. I'm looking at the clock as we're up against another break here in a minute. So that league doesn't happen. Now we go to 2021. And now we're in the fan-controlled football league.
Oh, come on, Brad. I know that you closely followed the Glacier Boys.
I have
sure.
no earthly clue about the fan-controlled football league. What were they, and how did you find them?
Well, they found me. I did a workout for them in Houston, Texas. You know, it was basically like a 7-on-7 league. Basically, it's basically like a big old, like you were playing in a big old video game. Like that's how it was. Like, you know, you sit there. You know, it's like fans. They pick the plays, and like they tell us the plays, and like we go out there, go out there and run them.
Yeah. So how does that work out? Because I know millions of Cowboy fans who think they're better play callers than Keller Moore. So how'd that work out with these fans calling plays?
It was. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy, but me and my quarterback, DeAndre Francois, like, we just out there running our own stuff.
Yeah, okay. Whatever they send in, we're going to do what we're going to do.
Yes, sir.
Now, where had he been, and where is he now?
I think he just got a XFL draft invitation, so I think he's going to the XFL this year.
So,
was that in Atlanta, the fan-controlled league?
Yeah, yes,
so
ma'am.
so everyone's all kind of like USFL,
Yeah, we
where
was in the
everyone
bubble.
was in Birmingham.
Yeah,
You're in the bubble. There in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, 6 games, caught 13 balls, 4 touchdowns, and then that ends, and you go to the Spring League.
and Brad, I know you closely followed the Sea Lions of the Spring
the
League.
Sea Line. Now, where the hell are they?
Well, where
And what
every
is-
Sea Lion would be, right in the middle of Texas.
And where?
Yeah.
Where were the Sea Lions? And how did you find? Do you have an agent guiding you to all of this stuff,
I didn't have an agent. I was doing it on my own.
dude?
Yeah.
How did you find the Spring League?
A coach named Coach Smith, he had got in touch with my moms. He knew my moms from a long time. And he like offensive line coach. You know, he got in touch with my moms and asked me did I want to come play. And I was like, yeah, and like I'll come do anything at this point. So I just went up there, played. I think they had it located in Houston, Texas.
And what are you getting paid, like $100 a game or $150 a
Yeah,
game?
it's like $200 a game.
And I'm serious about this. Then we got to take our next break, and then we're going to pick up this travelogue. When you're going through all of this, did the thought ever occur to you, somebody somewhere does not want me to stop playing football yet?
I had that in my head, but I really didn't care what people say. I just was out here I'm going to continue to chase my dream no matter what, and I didn't care what people had to say.
And you must have a lot of friends who, when you tell them this, they say, "Yeah, but man, that ain't chasing no dream. When you're playing for $200 in the Spring League, what dream are you chasing doing that?"
But I just said I wasn't in it for the money. You know, I wasn't in it for the money. I was in it for the game. You know, I love football, and I never was in it for the money, and never was. I never thought about the money. You know, I just love the game of football.
By the way, as you have success and stay in this NFL for a while, don't tell them that you don't care about the money. You're in a whole different deal right now.
Yes,
KaVontae Turpin's our guest. We are on the Cowboys Hour, the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour at Concrete Cowboy in the Star District in Frisco. I'm Brad Sham with Kristi Scales. We'll be right back with KaVontae Turpin after this.
To the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons.
The Cowboys Hour is also supported by Lucchese, the official boot maker of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Kristi Scales along with Brad Sham, and our very special guest is Cowboys wide receiver and return specialist KaVontae Turpin, and we're going through his journey between TCU and the NFL, where with the Cowboys, 26-year-old rookie, and we've made it through the fan-controlled football league with the Glacier Boys, the spring league with the Sea Lions, and then before you get to the USFL, this time a year ago, last fall, the European League of Football with the Wrocław Panthers in Poland, going against the Hamburg Sea Devils and the Leipzig Lions. How did you wind up in Poland in the European League?
Man, well, I had an agent by this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Big time
I know
now.
you didn't
Big
just find
time.
your way to Poland. Okay.
Yeah, well, I had an agent by this time. You know, he came and just like, do you want to go to Germany and like Europe? And I was thinking like, no, I don't want to go. Cause I was thinking like something else was gonna come up, but then nothing else come up. And they came back around, and I was like, yeah, let's go. So they signed me for like the middle to the end of the season. And I went out there, you know, it was nice. You know, I had a great experience, you know. But when I went out there, it was basically just like I was teaching and like being a leader when I went out there, because most of the guys, they really didn't know like American football, basically. So that's when I went out there. I say it helped me become a better leader and a better teacher, like in the experience of the game.
Who was your coach?
His name was Koba Samuel.
Was he a Polish guy?
Yeah, he was a Polish guy.
And what was it like living in Poland? I mean, you and I talked a little bit about this the day that after your first practice and you met with the media and kind of pulled you aside afterwards to talk about the experience of living overseas where, you know, it's a different language, totally different culture, different foods, but it sounds like you really embraced that opportunity.
Yeah, I embraced, you know, I took advantage of the opportunity. And I say like it was live, like living in Poland, you know, just living somewhere in a different country. That's my first time like going out the country. So I just made every effort of it and just try to live it.
And that's a neat city, Breslau. If you know,
Is that where it is?
It used to be
Breslau?
Breslau became Wrocław after after the war. It became Polish instead of German. But what were the crowds like? What was the living situation like? And then when you know were obviously teaching your teammates, but I'm sure that's just a very different dynamic than you had been over here in the United States, where so many people grew up playing football.
Yeah, it was totally different. You know, it was like the living. You know, you had to take a train everywhere. You know, the apartments. It looked like a abandoned. Like going in, it looked like a abandoned building, basically like old. But it was nice. And when you walk in, it's like nice. You know, I didn't expect that. You know, just coming from the United States, I thought it was gonna be handy dandy. But it was nice though, and I say like, it was nice just living in there. You know, just adapting to their lifestyle. You know, what got to me was the bad thing. I say like the time difference.
Really? Not the language?
I know. I didn't even try to like. Get
I was going to ask you what words you learned in Polish.
Yeah, I didn't even try. Like, I knew the guys were talking to me when they were speaking English.
Okay.
Yeah, they were speaking English, so I knew they was talking to me.
So the time difference was the big thing for
Yeah,
you.
like it was time difference was a mud.
Okay, I got to ask you this because Kristi mentioned food. Now, you know, we've been to, with the Cowboys, we've had the chance to go to literally all over the world. A few years ago, we went to England. England. They speak English. Guys didn't want it. I don't want to go to England. I don't know about the food. It was unbelievable. Now, did you get a little adventurous with the Polish cuisine, or did you just go to like McDonald's and order hamburgers and chicken nuggets?
I tried it. I ain't gonna cap. I tried the food. You know, I'm a picky eater. It was nasty to me. it was nasty to me. But yeah, I was the McDonald's guy then.
Okay. All right. Now, they wanted you back, but you instead decided to go to the USFL.
Yes, sir.
And in case you don't know, he was the MVP of the USFL. So that is some of the now it's a little bit more like what you're used to watching and playing. And did you know that all of the games were going to be in Birmingham?
Yeah, I knew going into that, they told us that we were going to be stationed in Birmingham, Alabama. And I just thought of it like a bubble, but they didn't have it like a bubble. No, they had us. We can go live. But it was great. Birmingham was great. They showed love.
Yeah, well, it's just ironic that you played for the New Jersey Generals, and yet this week was the first time you got to play, at MetLife Stadium as a Cowboy, because all of your games were in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that was a lot of fun because it's not just your teammates with the Generals, but everybody all together. So what's Birmingham like during the week when you got all these USFL players?
It was great, just getting I knew some of the guys, just getting to know some of the guys, just know their story, just to get to the USFL, it was wondering. It's like exciting to like get to know all those guys and just learn the coaching, take coaching. But when I went into the USFL, like my mindset was, it's time, like it's time to show everybody that like I'm still that dynamic player. Like that was my mindset. And I just feel like that's what I showed, like, with Mike Riley, like, offensive scheme with me. Ma'am had a great time at the USFL. They just in my mindset, like, it's time.
Who was your coach?
Mike Riley.
Mike Riley, yeah, good, really good coach. And who was it? Was he the OC or was there another OC?
OC hit night with Coach Smith, the same guy I played in the spring league with.
How about that? Okay. So the interesting thing is that you're the MVP. You only had one punt return for a touchdown, right? Although you led the league.
Yeah.
You led the league. But it was as a receiver, really, that you made the biggest splash.
Mm-hmm.
So they've only given you a couple of spoonfuls of receiving so far. Are you in Kellen's ear, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm in the RP ear. Tell them that, I'm just, that was my mindset going into USFL. Like, I knew everybody knew that, I was a special teams guy and all this, but I went into the USFL, like, I got to prove everybody that I'm a receiver. Like, that's when I had to prove them on the NFL level.
So the offense that Riley ran, what kind of routes were you? I'm looking at your stats, and you had 540 receiving yards, 44 catches, 4 touchdowns. Is that a lot of screens? Is that a lot of stuff in the flat? How much of that is down the field?
Like, we ran, like, most of the love was down the field. We only ran, like, we didn't really run no screens, really. He basically, like, route runners, like slants, outs, posts, seam balls. Like, we did everything with Mike Riley. He had great film he had great film for me to show, like, that I was a receiver, basically.
How do you describe the level of play in the USFL? There are a lot of guys who have some NFL experience or at least camp experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was like, I just say it was like coming to the NFL, seeing this, I say it's like semi-pro of the NFL, like next thing up to the NFL. But it was great, it was a great experience, it was great football, great film to have. And I just felt like it was great to, like, I feel like USFL going to be here for a while. It was great to, like, just be in the league and just be the MVP of it.
When the Cowboys signed you and special teams coordinator John Fossil talked to the media, he said that he had been keeping tabs on you since the USFL had started, and even before that. When did you know that Fossil and the Cowboys in particular were really paying attention?
Well, when I left the USFL, went home, they called me. Will McClay, he called me. He was like, want to bring you up here for a workout. I haven't even talked to the Cowboys. I talked to like a bunch of teams, but the Cowboys, the first team.
Sorry, what did they tell you? The other teams that you talked to, what did they say?
They just was telling me, like, just stay. We'll give you a few calls for a workout, all this. But the Cowboys called me, and they called me. They was like, come up here for a workout. The Cowboys, the first team to give me a workout, came up here, did the workout. Just like, that's when I knew, like, oh yeah, they like me. They like what they seen with me in the workout.
And the team was already in Oxnard, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, what did you do in that workout?
I ran like 6 routes and caught like 6 punts. And I feel like I just made it look natural.
So I talked to a scout not long ago. We've seen what you can do in a return game. And I talked to a scout not long ago, and I said, what do you think about his prospects as a receiver? And the scout who thinks highly of you, and I'm not going to tell you where he was a scout from, said, well, he's not very big. I said, yeah, we all know that. He knows that. He said, well, guys that size, the further away they get from the quarterback, the harder they are to find. So do you think the things that you were doing in the USFL would translate to the NFL?
By the chances,
scheme-wise and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'll just say by the chances that I get, I feel like I can make it play just like I made in the USFL, just by the chances I get. Just the mindset I'm always have. Like, when the ball coming my way, like, it's mine. So, like, I got to make a play. Like, that's my mindset. No matter who on me, no matter if it's 3 people on me, like, I got to make this play.
KaVontae Turpin is our guest on the Cowboys Hour tonight. And you ain't heard nothing yet because I'm going to let him give you a little clinic on kick returning, especially punt returning. We had a conversation last week that I want all of you to be able to hear. And we'll be right back. We'll be right back with KaVontae Turpin on the Cowboys Hour.
By Albertsons.
The Cowboys Hour is also supported by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. I'm Kristi Scales alongside Brad Sham, and our special guest on the Cowboy Hour tonight is Cowboy wide receiver and return specialist number 9, KaVontae Turpin. And Brad, I know you want to talk to KaVontae about punt returns, but in your mind, KaVontae, what is it? You're not a punt returner or a wide receiver? What are you?
I'm a running back.
A running back. All right. But, hey, once you get the ball in your hands, right?
I mean, there's just an instinct in me that just is seeing you take, not a fly sweep, standing back there, I formation, take the handoff, and he's going to get killed. They can't let him run up in there with them giants. But that doesn't even occur to you, does it?
No, I don't care. Like, I don't care how big you is. Like, I get that ball, I'm going to make a play. Like, that's my mindset.
Okay, so last week, Turpin and I were having this conversation. I was listening, and I want all of you to get a chance to hear this a little bit because this stuff fascinates me. I noticed in training camp, watching when you were in punt return drills, that there were sometimes some punts, depending on what the coverage was and how high the ball was and whatever, that you would take just a little half step, a little slide step, one direction or the other. We noticed in the Chargers game, I think one of the returns, you actually took a shuffle step back before you started going forward. So I asked Turp the other day, I said, am I dreaming? Or is that a thing that you do that? What does that mean when you do that? So go ahead and talk to the people about what the ball's in the air, what are you looking at, and what do you see, and what do you think about, and what do you react to?
Well, when he kicked the ball, I look at the gunners. Like, I make sure I don't even look at the ball. Like, I ain't even looking. I look at the gunners, see how fast they going, and see do CJ and Fat and see do they got him. Then I look at the ball, see where it's landed. I get to my spot, and, like, I already know it's landing, like, somewhere right here. Then I look and see.
Okay, stop. I'm sorry, stop. You run to your spot. You haven't looked at the ball yet.
No, I looked at the ball then.
But not yet.
Yeah.
Not until then. Mm-hmm. You're where you're standing. The ball's kicked. I'm looking at the gunners. Now I'm going to my spot. Now you're looking at the ball. Damn ball is about on you, isn't it?
I still up there. They be punting high.
All right, okay.
I see it fast, so.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did you play baseball?
Yeah, I played baseball.
Were you an outfielder?
Outfield and shortstop.
And I'll bet you were just hell on wheels tracking fly balls.
For sure.
Okay, all right, come back to the punt. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, I see them come back there, and I get the ball, like, just like the Chargers game. I seen them. The punter, the gunner, he got close to me. I know that they can't hit me before the ball get there. So
they're not supposed to.
Yeah, they're not supposed to. So, I get the ball. He dove. I took a little shuffle step back. I practice that on, at practice. Like, I do the little step back, just for room, basically, like a missed step. I know guys not expecting that, so, that's what I do. And basically, just separation.
Yeah, and
so I'm sorry, Kristi, the step doesn't come till after you've located the ball.
Yes, sir.
You've gone through all those other things. The reason I'm asking you this is, if fans are watching you, whether it's at AT&T Stadium or on television, and you're back there, if they see you, balls in the air, they don't care about the gunners. But if they see you take that little step,
I'm not for catching.
You have seen something.
Yes, sir. I'm not for catching at all. When you see that step, I'm not for catching.
Get ready.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, being a punt returner at AT&T Stadium poses a unique challenge because it's the only stadium that has a center-hung digital board.
Tell me about
now, Now, what kind of challenge is that? And by the way, just with the LED lights in there, it's hard to locate the ball anyway.
Sure.
Even as a receiver. So, is it very different at AT&T Stadium compared to other venues you've played? And do you wish that maybe you could practice more out there if it is a big difference?
Yeah, I say it's different because, I'd be expecting the ball to hit the jumbo thing every time. Like, that's why the only thing I say different. I expect the ball to, at least graze off it because it's just right there so big.
Well, to have it happen each of the first 2 weeks of this regular season, we haven't had it in back-to-back weeks, but I'm sure Bones had coached you up. Do you know that it would be a dead ball if you were back there and it were to happen?
Oh, no, we for sure. Bones, we know, if we get a good chance, it's game on. Bones already know. Bones stay in my ear. He always tell me, Pro Bowl this year. So, You know, I'm looking up. I'm looking up to that standard. You know, which I'm going to Pro Bowl this year.
Well, I think Cowboy fans just really don't appreciate the precision of Brian Anger, the Cowboys punter, because the way he's trying to angle it, and often teams are trying to, pin you towards the sideline and the like. And I mean, the way that he can just precisely, just barely miss that board. But from the punt returner standpoint, when you know that they're going to try and drive, like Bones was talking today about what a great play you made in fielding the punt in the game against the Giants, just going back and catching it and towards the sideline and everything. What's it like, and how do you even know how close you are to the sideline when you're having to try and pay attention to so many other things?
I'll just say, like, working with Brian every day, like, Brian, just when we doing, like, just say we doing, like, punt return, like, he'll give me kicks that he expect guys to kick to me, so he helped me with that, in practice. And, like, I just feel like, with his help, that's what make the game kind of, navigate and come slower to me by the stuff we do in practice. And
could you talk about the difference when you have a left-footed punter and a right-footed punter?
I don't like left-footed punter. I don't like left-footed.
Because?
The ball just stay there. It don't, like, right-footed punters, like, the ball, it'll flip over and you will see it, like, the nose is, and I say left-footed punters, like, it's hard to really catch a left-footed punter because it's just standing there just spinning. Like, you will think it's going to land in your spot, but it'll land like 5 yards in front of you because the nose won't turn around.
It's interesting because the special teams coordinator that was here several years back, Rich Bisaccia, who's now with the Green Bay Packers, at that time, I believe it was 3 out of 4 punters, and maybe even at one point, all 4 punters in the NFC East were left-footed, including the Cowboys punter, Chris Jones, obviously. And so in practice, the punt returners are fielding Chris Jones's left-footed punts. But when they would play, like, non-division games, they're going against right-footed punters. And so Jeff Heath, who was the Cowboys safety and the backup kicker, so Cowboy fans remember when he had to go into game on the West Coast and kick off and then even kick an extra point. Anyway, he would have Jeff Heath punt in practice so that the returners could be used to having the right-footed spin. So the point is there's just so much more to it than fans understand. I have one more thing, though, because you're also the Cowboys kickoff returner. And so is it a different skill set returning kickoffs as opposed to punts?
Yeah, totally. I say kickoffs are easy because, you catch the ball, you can run like 10, 15 yards and know exactly where everybody going. Now, punt is harder because, you got to watch people. You got to see if it's a good return ball, if it's a good fair catch ball. It's just a lot of things come into a punt return.
Punt return, what you do with it is left up to your judgment, which you demonstrate to them game by game, week by week. Kickoffs, what percentage of the time are you told, I don't care where it is and what you see, don't field it, don't catch it, don't touch it?
Well, Bones and Coach Mike McCarty, they told me, like, if it's over 3 yards, like, leave it. Like, but if I can catch it
over 3 yards deep,
like over 3 yards deep in the end zone. Like, if it's 3 yards and under, I can take it out. But I feel like some games, like, just say, like, going into halftime, like, like 50 seconds left on the clock, we need to play, in the ball like 5 yards deep, I feel like they'll let me bring it out.
Did you ever, we're short on time, but you're one thing I think that's probably been a constant from the time you started playing is you believe in your ability.
For sure. I always believed in my ability, even in high school. Like, I knew that my skill set was different than other people's.
Did you ever field a punt standing, like, inside the 10-yard line?
No, I always felt catch.
So people told you don't. I know you think you can do this.
Well, back in high school, once you kick in the end zone, it was like that. But at TCU, like, I brung everyone out.
I'm talking about a punt now.
A punt?
A punt.
Oh, no. Punt, no. I always fair catch it under the 10.
All right. Hey, listen, this is really fun. It's fun having you around, and you are great fun to watch, and we really appreciate you coming out here tonight.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, now, is there some special dance when you score?
No, I ain't got one yet. I'll have one for you next time.
Okay, coming up. KaVontae, Turpin For Kristi Scales, I'm Brad Sham. Thank you very much for being with us. And don't forget, we will be right back here at Concrete Cowboy, the Star District in Frisco, next Monday night. Be here at 6 for the Cowboys Hour.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!